What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Hey, what's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? This is Judah Rad. I'm here with Robo Strange, and today we have a very, very special guest. His comic book credits include work for Black Mask Studios, IDW, a little bit of Marvel, and his creator-owned comic, The Naturals, with writer Chris Mewis. Most recently, he's worked consistently with Valiant, doing character design, covers, sequential art for Ninjak, Rye, and Archer Armstrong. Currently, he's illustrating Mountainhead with writer John Lees for Image. Thank you for joining us, Ryan Lee. How's it going?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
So I was reading Mountainhead before we hit play.
Yeah.
I really like it. What's it been collaborating with John Lees?
John's the best. John's the best. I actually I reached out to him originally a long, long time ago. The pitch process for this book took forever. I don't want to get too tangential about that, but I really wanted to work with John, and he's the perfect collaborator. Great guy, open to new ideas. Like every now and then might want to add a little something. I never subtract, but every now and then I might want to add a panel or do something. And John's always cool with whatever, and he's just a great person. He really is like a great, great guy. So it's like I couldn't find a better collaborator, really.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So I'm going through the comic, and as I'm reading, I'm like, man, there's just something about this art that I can't put my finger on. Then it kind of dawns on me. There's kind of like a Frank Quietly, Arlene Klasky kind of vibe to what you do. I don't know if you know Arlene Klasky from Real Monsters and Rugrats.
Yeah.
Do you have any were they influencers? Did they influence your art, or if not, like, do you have any like old school artists that influenced your style of art?
Sure. Yeah. I can't say Arlene was, but her stuff. And now that I heard what it is, yeah, I know what that is. Of course. Yeah, it's great. Quietly, of course. All the really fussy comic artists and illustrators who like to do maybe too many lines. I'm a big fan of all that stuff.
Like Jim Lee vibes for sure.
Kind of. I mean, I liked all that stuff growing up, the 90s stuff, and it definitely rubbed off. Sam Keith was probably like my favorite of that whole crew. And I feel like I still like to noodle and hatch a lot like he does. I like to exaggerate the forms too.
Sure.
A lot. Yeah. I love all those, all the like clean line guys like Mobius and
Yes,
Art Adams. I guess he's not so much clean line, but Art Adams is real. His art's kind of fussy, and Jeff Darrow, all those guys. But man, my influences they're all over the place. A lot of artists whose stuff you wouldn't even notice in my work. You know what I mean? Like so.
Sure.
But I grew up reading a lot of Cracked and Mad magazine.
There you go. Yeah.
Probably even more so than comics. Like I'd get a comic occasionally, but really young, I got a lot of Cracked because it skewed more towards little kids.
That's right.
I didn't get a lot of the jokes in Mad. I like the outside of Spy versus Spy, I was a little lost a lot of the time.
Right. It's funny is that we talk about comics a lot, and now that you say that, I had an entire crate full of Mad and Cracked magazine, and it's like, wait, I think there was a period of time in my life to where I definitely was reading those more than comic books. That's interesting.
That is comics. That is comics.
It is.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like traditional, like big two type stuff.
But I could get those. I'd go to the grocery store with my mom, and occasionally she'd pick it up for me. She knew I liked to draw, so like, I guess it was kind of inspirational. And anytime they had like a Cracked monster party or something, I'd go crazy because I love drawing monsters and horror stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty.
Yeah,
awesome.
It was a big influence on me, big time.
So
Ray.
When you're talking about like art and you're talking about exaggerating the figures, I just posted on IG before starting this up one of your panels, which was and not to give any big spoilers for the book, but the father, or the air quotes, the father smashes the guard's head in the hospital room, and I'm thinking to myself, like, anybody else drawing this, or like, is it possible to ruin this scene with bad art? And so that leads me to my next question is, when some of the writers that we've had on the show, whenever we talk about like who they're collaborating with, and we go, wow, the art just really made the story. Like, it's almost as important as the writing. And I don't know if they're being humble or not, but the writers will say stuff like it's more important than the writing, especially in the case of graphic novels and comic books. Would you agree? As far as
I wouldn't say it's more. I guess this is like the company line to say like it works together,
Yeah.
but I do believe that truly.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
saying that because I'm supposed to.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it's a perfect collaboration. And like I said, like John, he's always cool. Like I'll send him the pages and I'm like, hey, if there's anything, that you want me to change or anything like that. Like I used to say that more towards the beginning. And he doesn't change anything really. Like he just kind of lets me run with what he does. He likes that I take it and kind of run with it a little bit. And obviously I'm not going to like do anything to ruin any beats in the story, anything like that. But yeah, I think we're pretty 50-50.
Yeah,
I like
that's awesome.
So at least
You have to be. I mean, when you're talking sequential art, you're. It's not like other art. You're telling a story. There's a language to it on how the story moves. So it's always there's this impression that some people get that like the writer just writes the story, hands it to the artist, and they just illustrate it. But really, you guys have to be telling the story together, or it just doesn't work.
I think that's one thing about creator-owned comics, is you have that rapport a little more. Like John and I are friends, we can collaborate. But I mean, like when I did sometimes when I did like backup stories for Valiant or when I did the Marvel thing, I didn't have a lot of the writer reached out, but you don't really feel like you have that same kind of collaboration really. You are more kind of just drawing the script,
Yeah.
Especially for like a one-off, like if it was like a long form book, which I have never done at like a big publisher outside of Mountainhead. I think that generally like you just kind of draw it. If you have an issue with something or you want to change something, the editor works as the liaison between the two of you a lot of the times.
That makes sense.
So when you're deciding what projects to do you consider what type of story you have a distinct art style? Do you ever see a script and think this isn't really for my style, or this definitely is for my style?
Yes. I didn't used to. When I first started doing comics, I would just do anything just to, just get stick.
Right.
But I've gotten a little more selective through the years just because I know, like, you got to think like an editor a little bit for yourself. Like, you're not going to get what you need out of me if I'm doing some, like, realistic spy story or something.
Right.
That's just not gonna, it's not gonna bring the best out of me, and it's not really gonna do someone's, like drawing an Ed Brubaker story that would be incredible in a dream, but
don't turn that down.
Yeah, I would never do that. But I also would feel like I wasn't really doing it justice, because I feel like just certain styles work better with certain stories.
That's right.
So yeah, I can't think of recently. I think people kind of know what I draw like now, and you kind of know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's really good. But I also wonder, like, as far as what you were saying with you take the spy realistic story with your art style, and it almost can like hurt the whole process in general. A great story, you have this off art or this great art, but the story doesn't fit, so then everybody kind of looks bad for it. And now I'm trying to think back if there's ever been any titles to where I thought, like, I don't really get what's going on here, or the visuals don't match the story, and then and now I'm going to be looking at stuff a little bit differently, to where I'm like, what artists out there would have done this, or something like that. So
sure, yeah. Put on your editor hat.
Yeah.
A little bit. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I even feel that a little bit with, like, when I do commissions. Sometimes people kind of know they have. Let me think how I want to say this. Some people who commission these things work kind of like editors in a way, because they know what you're going to do for them is going to look the best.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I get asked to do a lot of monsters and villains, which is great because I like drawing that stuff. So,
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
Interesting.
What where'd you get? So these character designs for Mountainhead are very very cool and very different and eye catching.
Thanks.
How did you like when you got the script? How did you go about sort of plotting these character designs and what inspired them?
When we first started out, I did kind of like a rough run on the character designs when we pitched it. I ended up changing a lot of those. I don't know. I mean, this is something that I learned from Ian Laurie, who is a really crazy, wild comic artist. He did a book with John Lees before called "And Then Emily Was Gone," which made me reach out to John. Is Ian, even when he draws normal people, they're kind of scary. And so I think it adds to like the whole mood of the story when even the people who are just kind of like Joe Schmo walking down the street, everyone is a little bit
Off.
off and not, you don't trust, or you're like, I think it helps add to the edginess of the entire book when everyone around you seems a little suspicious. Everyone's a little off, like you said. Yeah. So
there's like a grunge to everything. That kind of reminds me of like Edward Scissorhands, how like everything just seems a little weird when you're looking at like this picture perfect town. And like even issue 1 when they're cutting the steak, it's like his first meal with his family, and like they're cutting the steak. It's like that's not a delicious looking steak. Even the steak is like off.
Something
and
suspicious
like
about the steak.
something wrong with it.
I love that. I mean, that's a great sequence by John too. I just love like the idea of there's something so like grisly and I don't know, just something kind of gross about.
Like profane about it.
Yeah, like macro shots of meat being cut, even though I'm not a vegetarian, but there's something about seeing it up close and juicy and gritty.
And then when they're robbing the house and like that old granddaddy guy is there and he calls the cops.
Police.
Yeah.
That guy's so gnarly looking. I stared at that panel for a while. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. For a second, I'm like, oh, yep, there's the main villain. Oh, he's just an old guy. Call the police.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
But that's part of the thing. It's like I want everyone to matter in the story.
Right.
You know, everyone. I don't know. The one thing in comics I've noticed that I really like is when characters look distinctly different from each other. You know, even if it's like a mailman or someone working in an office, I think it just adds so much more. It makes everything feel richer and more fully realized. When people have like, not that you have to like go in and detail everyone's faces, but when they have like distinct shapes or silhouettes, I think it only, like I said before, I kind of like a broken record, but I think it only adds to the story, makes it feel more realistic, even though it looks goofy. The way I draw.
Well, I mean, it's again, it reflects real life, right? So in real life, people are nuanced, and there's these like life stories happening around you that have nothing to do with your story. Like when you're looking at comics and you're looking at these people around you, and the extras are drawn like NPCs. But when you look at the pages on especially Mountainhead, I'm looking at each, like how you're saying, like each individual is built and structured, and his scars or beards or whatever. It kind of does this world building effect, and I think it's really effective. I love it.
Thanks for picking up on that. Yeah, like a scar is a perfect example of something that is subtle storytelling. There's a backstory there. You don't know what it is, but you're like, all right, this guy's got something going on. Like, what happened?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, I guess he doesn't matter, but I don't know. Yeah. It helps. I think it helps make everything seem a little more interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel you've answered this question already, but just in case there's anything you want to add to it, and I feel bad for forgetting his name, but the artist that drew Infinity Gauntlet with Jim Starlin, I watched the
Ron Lim.
Ron Lim.
Yeah.
Maybe the colors then. I don't think it's Ron Lim, but I saw
George Ron Lim and Joe Rubenstein. Those are the three guys.
One of those guys, but I'm gonna bet Joe Rubenstein. I watched a panel with them, and somebody was asking this artist that I'm talking about, "Hey, what was it like drawing this character or whatever?" And his answer was, I don't really read comic books. I just they tell me what to draw and I did draw it and you know and I it really kind of like, oh wow, yeah, there is this disconnect. But then on the other spectrum, I see Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman and how they're like hand in hand collaborating. Oh, let's talk about this. How would this guy look and how would that? And they kind of like doing their deal.
Yeah.
When you're looking at Mountainhead, I know that you said you sent some hey, how about this panel or add this and how involved were you with the world building of Mountainhead and these characters and how they look and all that?
John had a pretty fully realized idea of what this city was. But in his general pitch, it was like it's a resort town in Canada, which actually works out pretty good because I live in a resort town in northern Michigan.
Okay.
So
pretty much Canada.
Yeah. We don't have as much. We don't have mountains like they do in Canada.
Sure.
But
yeah.
I think the aesthetics similar. Like it's very like winter based activity. So like a lot of the reference for the book is just stuff I took a lot of pictures around town in the winter, ski hills and just I don't know, just like sludge and just what trees look like. I have tons of pictures of trees, way too many. Like I almost take this. I feel like I probably didn't look at half the stuff I did. But the simple act of taking the picture helped me kind of remember. It's like taking notes in a class, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That makes sense. Because I also don't look at notes again after I take them. So yeah, I get it.
I just write them, but you kind of memorize them.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, like I just try to do a lot, and then I did a lot of research with them. I went to the library. I do like extensive research on stuff. Probably a little too much sometimes, to be honest with you. But I have folders and folders and folders of wildlife, mountains, trees, just like anything that I could, I don't know, just kind of like soak in to kind of get a general feel for what Brerick, the city, is.
Sure.
We based a lot of it off of Banff too, and I have a friend, a comic artist who lives in Calgary, and I was just milking him for information. Like I wanted some Canada deep cut stuff. Like, all right, what's the weird little things I can just throw on the table or put in the background, or you know, I wanted to feel somewhat authentic, even though you know I don't really know what I'm talking about.
so like Terrence and Phillip authentic, or
yeah.
That close.
I was actually really disappointed that nobody had floppy heads in your whole book. It was weird. I was like, that's not how Canadians.
This way.
So the reason I accidentally interrupted you earlier is because you brought up editing. So I was going to be like, well, actually, we have some questions about that. So you edited, as far as I know, 2, maybe more anthology series or anthology books. One is Matinee Eclectica, and one is All We Ever Wanted.
Okay, I didn't edit either of those. I mean, I did work in one of them, and then Matinee Eclectica was edited by Ryan Schrodt. He put that book together. So yeah, I've never edited anything really. No.
Okay, you're credited as an editor on Comixology for those books.
Oh really? Oh, weird.
Yeah,
that's weird. No, I didn't edit either of those books, but I worked on them.
Okay, cool. Well, that sort of renders
Comixology.
Yeah, Ryan Schrodt did Matinee Eclectica. He wrote and edited everything in that book. So
kind of renders my next question, I guess, obsolete. But I was going to ask if editing is something you'd like to do more of. But
yeah, it'd be cool to do one day.
Okay, so I'm going to substitute that for another question, and it's if you had 3 superpowers and you could choose what they are, what would they be?
Most people say flying, right?
Yeah.
Right. Super speed would be kind of cool. Some kind of like morphing, or I don't know. It'd be cool to be able to turn into any animal. Probably that'd be kind of sweet.
Okay. But maintain the intelligence of a human being. Like,
yeah, I don't want to be out of control.
You don't want to morph into a bat, and then you're like,
and then forget that you're not just supposed to shit everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to be crapping everywhere.
Yeah.
And, hiding in umbrellas at night and giving people babies.
I think way too much on this stuff. I always go like monkey paw style. I'm like, how could this screw me over? Well, I can't do this and I can't do that, like flying. Like, what if I'm not invincible? That means that any little pebble or anything that I hit is gonna shatter my bones because I'm flying at super speed. Like, no.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. It kind of reminds me. Do you guys watch or read My Hero Academia, or have you?
My son has. I haven't started it yet. I'm doing Demon Slayer right now. So.
Oh, I heard that's good.
Yeah.
I've taken a look at it, but I haven't gotten into it yet.
One of the cool things about that is the limitations of their powers, because they get into details like that. And there's like workarounds, but there's always, I feel like the limitations of their powers are almost important as their powers themselves on that show. It's pretty cool. It's really smart the way they handle some of the stuff.
I know Valiant kind of touches on it with Faith, where like if she's flying, she has like oxygen or whatever. Sometimes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wow.
Right.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Whenever I read like a genie fiction or like Three Wishes type fiction, they always do it wrong. Like it's always like they make a wish and the wish screws them over, or it's like they make a wish and it goes bad. And I feel like if it was me, my first wish would be for my first wish. I wish that my next two wishes occur in the spirit that I intend for them to occur.
Oh, I like that.
Very nice.
Right.
Very nice.
It's like a life hack.
Not bad. That's not bad.
Cool.
All right, Ryan. So as an artist, so I was trying to think of how to word this because you just might be doing your dream. This might be it. This is like I am doing my dream job. But is there some like goal? Is there some kind of like I've made it if you had an opportunity to do this with your art?
Okay. I would love to write and draw my own book, and I've been working on it for years.
Okay.
That would be like the goal, is to do like a long form version of something that I write and draw that involves monsters, and it will.
Awesome. What if you don't mind? Is it time? Like, what stops you from being able to do that? Because you seem to have connections. You have a name. People know who you are. So throwing up a Kickstarter doesn't seem.
I've considered it. I've considered asking one of my friends to help me kind of flesh it out, who is a writer, just to kind of get it rolling. And I'm not like an educated writer. I used to like to write, but I'm not schooled in the structure of it.
That's right. Yeah.
Or in practice of that. So, but it would be cool to do that one day. And yeah, I mean, Kickstarter it seems viable now for sure.
Yeah.
Making something like that happen. Yeah, I've mapped it out. I have characters. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you decide to do it, don't forget us. I'm sorry. Just don't forget us if you decide to do it. Come on, talk about
it. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Hey, so what is your favorite established character, superhero, or monster that you like to sketch or draw?
Let's see. I do like drawing Swamp Thing a lot. I feel like I've done a million Swamp Thing commissions. I like doing them.
Yeah.
They're always fun. Superheroes. I'm just looking at my bookshelf next to me. What do we got here? Yeah, Swamp Thing's pretty awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's probably one of my.
And there's so much you can do with that too, just because of his form and just how crazy he gets. Like that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can kind of mix them up. And Hellboy, any kind of Hellboy characters.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those are some of the best character designs in comics. Period.
It'd be cool to see you on a Hellboy title.
That actually would be a dream.
There it is.
There it is. We'll start the move on campaign.
Yeah.
Make it happen. So we're all on lockdown, man, and like the cons are canceled and everything. How's COVID impacted you and your work?
It's made me I've been super busy, luckily. I've been super busy. So it's made things a little easier to like focus and just, especially when it was, I live in Michigan, when it was colder out, and it's pretty cold out through like April here. So it was easier just to focus and stay inside, not do anything, but I miss going to cons. Like I have a book to promote now, with Mountainhead, and I got to go to C2E2, which was probably the last big con there was, period, I think, because Emerald City was 2 weekends after that, or the weekend after that, and that got canceled,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And now we were at C2E2, that's when everything started happening with, like everyone's like, okay, well, no one's shaking hands this weekend.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Fist bumps, and everyone had their Purell,
Yeah.
It's funny. We went to Hawaii Comic-Con like a couple months before COVID happened, and we at one point we walked up to Billy D. Williams and the Lando Calrissian actor, and he's already, like, before COVID even happened, he was already on fist bumps only. So.
Oh, was he? All
no,
right.
no, not even fist bumps, because that was what was embarrassing. So I went to shake his hand, and he's like, and he did this motion where he's like, he goes, oh, and I'm like, oh, and I'm looking at his hand. He's doing this number. I'm like, oh, my bad. And I went out like that to fist bump. He's like, oh, no way, I'm not touching. Yes. And I'm just like, sorry.
I'll tell you what though, Billy D. Williams definitely does not have COVID right now. So
all right.
Well, 100%. He was right. Billy D was right.
With a selfie stick wherever I go from now on.
Yeah.
Just
at 6 feet.
Yeah.
People need to carry fist bump batons where it's like, instead of just kicking.
I like that. I'm just gonna like hot glue a boxing glove on the end of a yardstick or something.
Just do that thing that corny people do when they think they're being funny, like air high five, but then it's gonna be normal. Like 20 years from now, people are like, that's how people do stuff. Just air high fives. That's it.
Yeah.
Business meetings, like, we're gonna air shake. All right, let's get started, guys.
Exactly.
Game for. So it looks like you're in your office studio area. I see some pencils and stuff. Do you have anything cool within reach to show us right now?
Yeah. Here, I'll just turn my camera.
Yeah.
Let's see what I got. I do have something cool. I can actually move my camera. Check this out. This is awesome.
All right.
I got very lucky. So I live in a small town, but there's a comic convention here called Cherry Capital Con, and they had Steve Dillon come here, and I got let's see. I got an Adam. I don't know if you guys can see it. I got an Adam Strange drawing from him.
Dope. Yeah.
I feel pretty lucky to have that.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. I like your view too.
Thanks. Yeah, it's all trees and stuff. And then over here, or do a little tour.
Yeah.
This is Riley Rossmo was one of my buddies, and we traded. He gave me one of these pages when he did an Inhuman story that never ran.
Wow. Damn. That looks cool.
That's super cool.
And then these are a bunch of my books next to my desk here. So I got my.
Nice. And stuff. Is that the whole Walter Simonson Thor omnibus?
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I don't know if it's catching it in there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
That's awesome.
I don't know. Is that cool? I don't know if this qualifies.
Well, so like
cool.
when I that is definitely cool. When I asked the question, I was hoping more for like something you were in the middle of drawing that's like no one's ever seen before. But
yeah, I could show you. What do I have? I've been doing most of.
Not to be too demanding or anything.
It's funny, and I'm not even kidding. I was thinking what he just did. Like that's where my brain was going. You were going somewhere else.
Yeah, I got a bunch of junk, but I have like the sketch cover I did recently. It's not for anyone. Actually, awesome. I did it about a month ago.
That's awesome.
Someone gave me a bunch of sketchbook covers, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a bunch of drawings on these just when I'm farting around.
Oh yeah.
And, I'm gonna auction these off for charities. So.
Do you have a website? If somebody, so I have a few undone sketchbook covers. Is there a website that people can go to like send you stuff for a cost? Of course.
I just hit me up on Twitter. I don't have like a base website or anything like that. I've been working on one of those forever too. So you can put that in the file with to dos with my
things to do.
That is a very I like that Hulk. It's a very your style Hulk for sure.
Thank you.
So
Like,
dope. Yeah.
I think I would recognize it even if you didn't show it. If I saw that somewhere else, I'd be like, oh shit, that's a Ryan Lee Hulk.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
That is
That means a
awesome.
lot. Seriously, I'm not like the greatest artist. I try to improve always, but I try to do something unique. I try.
I think that's the key. I think being able to have a style that people can go, that's that dude. I think that is I think that's important. Yeah, because I mean I see a lot of accomplished artists out there, and sometimes even though they're whatever you would consider great, they look like every other artist that's doing that work. And so to be able to stand out like a Scotty Young type or somebody who just says, "Oh, I know who drew that." That's super important. It's awesome.
Thanks.
So as far as and this is usually what we close with here is we usually ask for some, and if you can, you can. But
Sure,
you heard it here first type stuff. Any projects that you're working on that you're allowed to talk about? Anything coming up?
I do have something. I have a one shot. I can't tell you what it is, unfortunately.
Even
I have
the
a
publisher?
Yeah, I could probably say that. Yeah, I have a one shot coming out for Oni.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
I mean,
nice.
it's not gonna be out for a little while actually, but I'm working on that right now.
Awesome.
Cool.
It's an oversized one shot, and it's crazy and super fun, and it's a really good fit. It's a really good fit. So
That's
I
awesome.
can't wait
Awesome.
for it to come out because it's so fun. It
Awesome.
really is.
I haven't read much from Oni, but what I have read is awesome. I think Letter 44 is the last Oni book that I read.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
Yeah,
it's badass. So yeah, I'll definitely keep my eyes open for that.
thanks. Yep, I'll be blasting it out. I'm sure when I can talk about it.
Awesome.
Although.
Awesome. Well, Ryan Lee, that pretty much wraps up what we have here. Thank you very much for coming out and sharing your cool shit with us and your art.
Thank you.
Guys, if you guys want to check out Ryan Lee's socials, we'll throw his Twitter and IG in the description. Don't forget to check out our other playlists and other interviews, and we've got a lot more stuff coming up. We've just been officially added to Image Comics and Valiant Comics press list, so they're sending out some comics, and we're getting stuff early. So we have another playlist we're going to start building called First Look. Super original name. We thought of it ourselves, and maybe some other stuff going on. So until next time.
I'm Mountainhead.
Bye, Mountain.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and be free. Follow our links and watch our show because you want to and not because of the threats. Thank you for watching Judah, Robo, and Ree. We talk about comics, movies, and TV. Sometimes we have notable guests, and sometimes it's just us. But we're also cool.